Hey, this is Paul here from 508 LAX, bringing you another knife review on the Spyderco Centofante 3. In the open position, the knife is just over 3 inches long. Overall, the knife is just about 7.5 inches. The blade is made out of VG10 steel, one of my favorites. The blade shape is a modified clip point design with nice sweep and a false edge on top there. The blade is very thin overall as well, which is excellent for cutting. As you can see, this is a hollow ground blade. I do prefer the full flat grinds, however, this has served me very well. I've had this knife for about 11 months now, and I have resharpened it. However, we'll do some cut tests to show you what it's capable of. Here's the paper test. As you can see, it performed very well. Now let's see how it works on something more real world, like an apple. Now one time when I was cutting an apple with this knife, I actually cut the tip of my finger off. I've got a nice scar right there, as you can see. So I'll be more careful this time and cut it away from me. Ooh, this apple's not too fresh, but it cuts right through it. Alright, well, how about something else? How about a carrot? Also, it cuts very well. So the knife can cut through paper and fruit. I'm sure you already knew that, but I think it's kind of nice to see the knife actually in action, give you a better idea if you like it or not. Since this is a Spyderco knife, of course it does have a opening hole instead of a thumb stud, and I think it works very well. There's a slight burr, I don't know if you can see, we're about right there. But besides that, it's a pretty minor imperfection. The thumb hole itself works very well. You can get very good traction on it, or you can also get a good push on it to swing it open. It works great. One of the nice things about having a thumb hole instead of a thumb stud is that just in the function of the design, it allows you to have a great thumb ramp, which of course this one does. Along with the thumb ramp comes very effective jimping. These are very sharp and dig right into your thumb. And you can really feel when you lock in and you have your thumb on the ramp. It works great. The knife has a few markings on it. There's the Spyderco emblem. It says Spyderco VG10 on the left side, and then on the right side, Seki City, Japan. Another nice small detail is the detent, the bottom part of the blade, which allows for easier sharpening. When you get to the end of the ceramic rod, it allows you to have some breathing room so you can actually sharpen the whole blade. Just a small detail, but it's nice. You can see that in higher end knives usually. The blade centers very nicely in the handle, almost perfectly I'd say, right down to the pivot. Along with that, the knife also features incredibly good lockup. No movement side to side or up and down, and that's with having a pivot that is not adjustable. Some people say that's a downside, but when it's perfect, why do you need to adjust it? Now, as I showed you before, the speed of opening is incredibly fast. It doesn't come that way out of the box. It will take a while to break in, but believe me, once you get good at it and it's broken in, this will open up pretty much like a switchblade. In fact, for a direct comparison, let's test it against a switchblade. There's the Spyderco Centofante 3, and here's a Benchmade Model 2550 Mini Reflex. Centofante 3, Mini Reflex. Pretty much the same speed. This knife is a lockback design, which I feel that they executed very well. The amount of pressure needed to push down to unlock the mechanism is just right. It's not too little, not too much. I'd say it's pretty much perfect in my mind from the other lockbacks that I've seen. One thing that I really like about most Spydercos is that they include this David Boyd dent in their lockbacks, which I find to be very comfortable when actuating it, and it's just easier to find with your thumb. You just feel for the detent, then you know that you're ready to go, and you push down, and it's just more comfortable. Some people criticize the lockback mechanism because it's too slow to close, and this is a slower closing knife if you want to do it one-handed. The way that I do it is push down on the lockback mechanism with my index finger in the Spidey hole, pivot it a little bit, then switch my grip and finish it all the way. So you're good at it, it doesn't take too much effort. Unlike the Delicas, the knife is sharpened all the way to the edge and does not give you much of a ricasso to drop the knife down on your index finger and then close it. For example, this is a Spyderco Delica 4. As you can see, the knife is not sharpened all the way to the edge, so you can just flick it down like that, catch it on your index finger, and close it. This one, if you do that, you're going to get cut. So you've got to do it a little bit slower. Like I said before, the pivot screw and all the other hardware, as a matter of fact, are all pinned. You cannot take this knife apart as far as I know, except for the pocket clip, which I'll get to later. The handle has a very sleek shape to it. It's made of fiber reinforced nylon, and it's very thin, which is nice to be when it's in your pocket, and it's pretty comfortable to hold. It's comfortable, but granted, this is a very smooth knife. On this side there's not much for traction, and the other side is actually completely flat, the side that the clip is on. However, this is not meant to be a tactical knife, and I don't think that traction is necessary for everyday tasks. This will suit you just fine. There are two swedges on the left side of the knife. Spyderco claims these are for traction. I disagree. I don't think they do anything in terms of traction, but they do look nice. Also, of course, as you noticed, there's a Spyderco inlay on the back of the knife, which I think is really sharp looking. I like that a lot. It adds a lot of character to the knife. The biggest drawback to this knife is probably the pocket clip. It is adjustable for 2 positions, which is nice, only on the right side though. I've had this knife for almost a year, and as you can see, the paint is starting to flake off around the edges and there are scratches on it, which I don't really mind. I think it adds character to the knife. However, the torque screws that keep it in place are horrible. Well, maybe not horrible, but I don't like them. They did not tap the holes that they go into deep enough, so if you over tighten it, they'll just keep rotating once you get to a certain point, and I've had so many problems with this clip falling off and trying to get it back on. Right now, as you can see, it's all super glued in there, and the screws are all mangled from trying to over tighten them and everything. I've had really bad luck with the clip, having to get snagged on things. As you can see, it's not even completely flush down. There's some air in between the knife and the pocket clip. Given those drawbacks, I do like the design of the clip. It has that nice Spyderco emblem on it, and it's very low profile when it's in your pocket. I'll show you how that looks right now. Here's what the knife will look like when it's in your pocket. Not too much showing, but yet enough to grab and be able to extract it. So the Spyderco Centofante 3 I believe is an excellent knife, and it's still featured in the 2010 Spyderco catalog. So if you want to get it, they're still available, they're still making them. And they usually run about $50 online. They call this a gentleman's folder because of the classy looks, and if you're to bring this out in public, it wouldn't raise too many eyebrows just because of how nice it is. Thanks for watching.